The Kriegsmarine had been tasked with gathering meteorological data to aid the German war effort since the start of World War II, which at first was primarily carried out by weather observation vessels. Due to the frequent loss of these ships, it was decided to construct meteorological stations on land. The cat and mouse game played by a small group of tough and highly skilled men on both sides, hunting each other through the snow and ice over thousands of miles above the Arctic Circle, became known as the Atlantic Weather War. The first such station in the Arctic Circle was established in October 1941. Throughout the war, there were 16 specialized weather bases set up to transmit their findings to Berlin so that the German High Command could plan its operations against Russia, the British Arctic convoys, and land operations in Western Europe. The last and possibly the most significant covert Arctic operation the Germans ever carried out took place in September 1944. Operation Broadsword was commanded by Dr. Dege, a meteorologist who was tasked with establishing a weather station on Spitsbergen Island. Its task was to inform the German High Command of the most advantageous moment to launch the impending Ardennes offensive. In early September 1944, Dr. Dege and his group departed Hammerfest, Norway, aboard the submarine U-307. After an uneventful journey, they arrived off the coast of Spitsbergen on September 9, 1944. On September 10, the supply ship Karl Busch arrived with additional personnel, equipment, and supplies. Unloading continued at a brisk pace to take advantage of the good weather. The base was constructed and ready for transmission after a little more than a month of laborious work. From mid-October onwards, Dr. Dege and his team began to broadcast the raw weather data on which the German High Command would base its strategy for what would become known as the Battle of the Bulge. They would provide vital weather forecasts that would aid in countering the vast Allied aerial superiority in the coming months of December and early January 1945. The forecast for the final 2 weeks of December 1944, which included rain, fog, and probably heavy snow, was referred to by the Germans as Führer weather, which they considered ideal for the upcoming campaign. Based on this knowledge, it was determined that the surprise counterattack would start on December 16, 1944. In general, the estimates made by these meteorologists were accurate, although not every day would be so bad as to result in a complete flying blackout. The weather experts continue to send their forecasts back to Germany until the bitter end. The group received word from the Troms-based commanders that Germany had capitulated and the war was over. Even after the end of hostilities on May 8, 1945, they persisted in their efforts. They continued to send reports to the new German administration under Admiral Dönitz. On May 22, 1945, the British detained Dönitz and members of his government, but despite the fact that they had no one to report to, perhaps for the sake of science, they continued to observe the weather in that barren wasteland. But the supplies were depleting, and it was clear that October would soon lead to a lengthy winter, marked by a scarcity of food and no light. So on September 3, 1945, exactly 6 years after the British had declared war on Germany, they made the decision to surrender. Dr. Dege had the dubious distinction of being the commander of the last German unit to surrender to the Allies. Almost 4 months after the official end of hostility had passed, they were picked up by a Norwegian seal hunting vessel and surrendered to its captain on September 6, 1945. In 2016, Russian scientists discovered a World War II-era German base on Alexander Land in the Arctic Circle and removed some 500 artifacts for study. After extensive research, it was discovered that the base was a military weather station, codename Treasure Hunt. The construction of the secret complex began in late 1942 but only came into operation in 1943. On May 30, 1944, the station's cook shot and killed a polar bear. He prepared a serving of steak tartare from the animal, which was consumed by all but one vegetarian member of the station's crew. Within a week, all, with the exception of the vegetarian, suffered from diarrhea, abdominal pain, and vomiting. They developed a rash, experienced muscle pain, and had a fever by the end of the month. Testing revealed that they had trichinosis, a parasitic disease brought on by roundworms consumed through poorly cooked meat. An emergency evacuation of the base was immediately ordered. They were rescued by a modified Fokker-Wolf Condor, which carried all the members of the weather team to a medical facility in Trondheim, Norway. Up to 2016, the base was abandoned and forgotten until the Russians showed up. Numerous conspiracy theories linking UFOs and alien technology to German activity in the Arctic have been sparked by the discovery of such secret bases and German expedition to New Swabia in Antarctica. These theories claim that Germany's allegedly successful attempt to create futuristic designs, including the AS-6 and Horten Ho 229, the first flying wing to be propelled by jet engines, during World War II, are evidence of the assistance of a highly developed civilization. The theory contends that because German research into advanced propulsion technology, which included the V-2 intercontinental ballistic missiles and aircraft-launched guided missiles, was unlike anything in the West, they must have received assistance from extraterrestrials. In case you were wondering, I can confirm that no alien spaceship was discovered entombed in the ice. If you liked the video, there are many more like it on my channel.